Okay, I see Myrna, you're with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Francis, are you back?
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Borden and Mr. Pepper are here with me. Mr. Wynn, are you on? Mr. Temple? Dan Culpepper? There's Eddie. Okay, Eddie, you're with us.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Mr. Culpepper indicated that he wouldn't be able to attend.
Okay. So he's not going to be here. Okay. So Joseph Wynn or Forrest Temple, either one of you in yet? Okay, well, we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and get started. Joseph, you want to run through them, or you want me to handle them in the pre-meeting?
I can go ahead and get started if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, so first item on the agenda is rezoning 1367-20, 0.15 acres, current zone is R3. Applicant is very strong for Donita Parker and Miracle Deliverance Apostolic. The location is 323 Memorial Drive Northwest. The request is to rezone to allow reopening of convenience store. Proposed zone is B1. Proposed land use is neighborhood market. One indicator, future land use is core neighborhood. Street typology, Memorial Drive Northwest is a minor arterial. 3rd Street Northwest is an urban collector. The zoning committee recommended denial on this item and recommended the applicant go to ask the Board of Zoning Adjustment for a use variance. And point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at owner's expense.
Okay, I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but this location operated as a neighborhood market for many years, and the owner passed away, and it was closed for 2 years. So, you know, you're only grandfathered, your grandfather goes away after 12 months. So, and that's what happened, and now the family wants to open it back up as a neighborhood market. And they're not grandfathered any longer, so that's why they've asked to rezone to B1. And like Joseph said, the zoning committee recommends denial of this, and it's just like a case we had a month before last, the same thing. If they chose to open, there's a lot of things that could be in B1 that could be used for that. And the same as the last one, I think it's better that we recommend that they go to BOZA, and BOZA grant them a use variance. The chairman of BOZA, she agrees with that, feels like that BOZA would be agreeable to grant them a use variance. And that way they could operate as a neighborhood market, but they couldn't do anything else.
What's the address?
I agree with you 100%, Ken.
Okay.
Absolutely. We do not want to rezone that.
Right. Now, it's my understanding that the neighborhood is all for it, and I think they're for it being a neighborhood market, which I could understand that, but, you know, if we rezone it, it opens it up to many different things. And the address is 323 Memorial Drive.
Right, and I would say 99% of those people do not understand what B1 zoning entails.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Francis. I think you're right. But I do think we want to try to accommodate them, and that's better served through BOZA giving them a use variance.
Oh, yes. I have no problem with the neighborhood market. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But I just don't want to rezone it. Yes.
Right.
And I agree with Francis, but I have a question. As a neighborhood market, are they allowed to sell the same things that are in the B1 zoning, or are there any restrictions?
Well, BOZA can put restrictions on them. You know, it depends on what they ask BOZA for and what BOZA grants them. Now, as far as alcohol, they wouldn't be able to sell alcohol because they're within 500 feet of a church. But
Right, okay.
I sort of feel like BOZA's gonna ask for a narrow, request. In other words, not just open it wide open but where we can only rezone something, we can't put conditions, BOZA can actually put conditions. And so they can, you know, they could say they could only be a fruit stand or a small grocery store or something like that. But I get, you know, that would all be to what they go and request from BOZA and what BOZA grants them.
Well, I'm in agreement with both of you. I wouldn't like to see them sell alcohol, but then again, that's in BOZA's hands. But it's my understanding that they're already open.
Well, I don't think so. I rode by a few weeks ago and they weren't open. Now, you know what?
Okay.
They may.
And I went by Ken, I think it was last week. I rode by.
Were they
I
open?
was just in the neighborhood. No,
Okay.
I was just in the neighborhood. I go that way all the time.
Yeah. See,
And they were not open.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They went to the building department to request to open back up, and the building department, of course, told them they couldn't because they were in a R3 zone and their grandfather had expired. And they did take it to BOZA, but they took it to BOZA on a decision appeal. In other words, if you disagree with what the building department or revenue tells you, you have the right to go to BOZA for BOZA to confirm whether they apply the right rules. And they did do that. So, but they have not gone to BOZA asking for a variance, a use variance. So they can go back next month and do that if they wish. Okay, anybody else have an opinion on that or want to say something about it? Okay, Joseph, let's move to the next case then.
Kent Eddie, sorry, I couldn't get unmuted.
Okay.
So on that, we should disapprove and suggest to them in the meeting to take it to BOZA for evaluation.
That's what I feel.
That's what I thought I heard. I just want to make sure that was right understanding.
Right.
Yeah, we'll make a motion to approve and then vote no on it.
Right, yeah.
That's-
And as always, we always make a positive motion, you know, but everybody has
Yes.
can vote either way. But if they don't receive a majority vote to approve it, then we will explain to them that they can go to BOZA. Okay? All right, Joseph, go ahead with the next case then.
All right, next up we have pre-zoning 1368-20. This is 1.635 acres. Applicant is Burt Boise for racetrack patrolman. This is 2309 and 2313 Highway 20, and this is to pre-zone the parcel to be annexed in Annexation 363-20. The proposed zone is M1A, proposed land use, gas station. One indicator of future land use is Flex Employment Center. Highway 20 is a principal arterial. On this, the zoning committee recommended approval. Only condition was copy of deed needed. And this was just the parcel actually next to what has previously been pre-zoned. This was a number of months ago now. And that one is also going forward with an annexation in this meeting.
All right, just to refresh everyone, there's the parcel that the racetrack is on now. A few months ago, we pre-zoned a parcel that they were gonna annex in. Now they've requested for another piece. And pre-zoning is where we apply a zoning to something that's not in the city limits.
Is this the store on Highway 20?
This is on the corner of Highway 20
In
and
the belt line
67.
at 60.
Yeah. So this, and there's other requests in the meeting today. So this is a request to pre-zone this to M1A. And like Joseph said, this goes along with what we've already done on that corner.
Rezoned to M1A?
Yes. Any questions or comments from anybody? Okay, let's move to the next one, Joseph.
All right, so next up we have zoning text amendment 246-20. This applicant is the city of Decatur, and the request is a zoning text amendment to make it easier for mobile food vending units to operate in the city of Decatur. In general, this amendment would allow food trucks to operate on private property, subject to certain requirements as an ancillary use to a business. Additionally, it establishes a framework for the designation of certain City of Decatur property as pre-approved mobile food vending sites, other minor changes to keep definitions in conformity with those used by the health department and to prevent contradictions with existing provisions. The zoning committee recommends approval with the correction of the typo in section 25-198.9 where it states for kiosks. There are no conditions to be met. First, the point of information, any relocation of utilities, the owner's expense, but everyone should have a copy of this in their packet. If you'd like, I can sort of read it through, but that's up to you guys.
Okay, does anyone need Joseph to read this through, or have you read it? It's quite a bit to read, so I'd rather not ask him to do that. So why don't we just open it up?
I read it, Ken.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you all did a wonderful job. It's simpler now, and I don't see where would be controversial. I think it has good points in it and good regulations.
And I'm going to give Joseph the credit for that. Joseph has done a lot of work on this, and I agree. He did an outstanding job with this, I think. We have gotten one comment from a citizen requesting that we put some limitation on generators. That's something we may add to it, that a generator is 65 dBs or less, measured at 21 feet. Which is something we hadn't, the committee never talked about, it never came up, but it is a pretty good suggestion that we could add that to what we recommend to the council. Other than that, yeah, go ahead, Eddie, I'm sorry.
That's okay, this Eddie, we have a noise ordinance that the police department is in charge of enforcing. I can't remember exactly what it is, something about 50 feet.
Yeah.
And I think there was a decibel reading in it. I don't know that we need to add that to this if we already have something that cover it.
So
Yeah, and we do have one. The one thought of why to add this here is because out-of-town food trucks may not know about that noise ordinance, and I actually think it's 80 decibels.
well, no, so on our noise ordinance indicator, we don't have a decibel. It's if they can hear a noise emitted from a mechanical device within 50 feet.
Okay, so Mr. Pepper just informed me that our noise ordinance does not have a dB amount on it. It's just whether they can hear it at 50 feet. So,
Okay, should we just put in that it should meet the city of Decatur's noise ordinance and not go into decibels and 21 feet?
I agree with
Because if
that.
we're gonna say decibels, I think we're gonna have calibrated meters and that type of thing.
Yeah.
well, that's a very good point, and that's probably why it's not in there now.
Hey, Ken?
Yes.
There's a difference, the 50 feet coming from a car, that is just if you just hear it 50 feet away. But if it's noise for something like this, that's in a different section of the code. And I can't remember what the decibel rating is, but there is one.
So there is a decibel reading in there?
No, he just said he couldn't remember.
And the one that's not from a car.
Okay, so
the
there's two
50
separate ones on the noise.
Just being able to hear it 50 feet away is noise coming from a car.
Okay, okay. I did not know that. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to input on that? What sort of sounds like to me that the majority feels like that our current noise ordinance would cover this already, so there's no reason to add this. Does anybody
Should we
disagree with
put a
that?
blurb in there about following the city ordinance?
We could do that. We took the same approach with the restrooms. You know,
Yeah.
we mentioned that if you're gonna be there for more than 2 hours, you gotta have a restroom, which is a health department regulation. So we could add it sort of the same way we did that.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if it was there just for clarity.
So Joseph, could you come up with wording of how we would add that?
I have to check the exact number of the statute, but I could just add, say, under section 25-198 requirements, add a point saying all apparatus must be in conformity with the number of the section, and then with the city of Decatur sound ordinance.
Okay. That sounds pretty good to me. Does anybody else have a different opinion?
To me, that would, when somebody was looking at this, it would point them to have to go find that ordinance, whatever it is,
Right.
and look at it. So I think that covers it.
Okay. So that would be added under 19, is that correct, Joseph?
Yes, that would be number 19.
Okay. Okay, does anybody else have anything else they would like to add, subtract, or discuss? Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands the thing about, on the public property, there will be a map that goes with this that shows locations that are pre-approved. And we're not hearing that today. We're hearing the zoning text that states that there is a map. The map will go through basically the same procedure as this once it's developed. And so then we would have specific areas where we say food trucks on public property could operate. And then, and it spells out how they go through to get permission for that. But that's a separate document from this zoning text. So once we pass this today and recommend it to the council, it gives them the authority to establish this map that would give public property spaces. Does that make sense?
Wait, so we're gonna set
Well-
the areas ourselves, then we're gonna get us to approve it?
Okay.
That caught me off, I'm sorry.
Okay, there's two different pieces to this. What we're doing today, we're passing a zoning text amendment. And of course, any amendment goes to the council for final approval. And this amendment states that there will be a map that designates areas of public property that food trucks can reserve and set up and operate from.
Okay.
But that map is not developed today.
Map is not developed,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll go ahead and pass this ordinance, and, we gotta get with the police chief and discuss some of these different areas. There were more things involved in that. But this way, the map can be amended without having to change the ordinance. The text of the ordinance will always stay the same, so you could amend the map to add or delete spots at any time. It'd be a simpler thing to do in the future. And I think it's a great way to do it myself.
And the council are the ones that can amend it?
Yeah, it would go through this same process. It comes to, it would go through the planning department, it would go through TRC, then it would come before the planning commission. The planning commission would recommend or not recommend to the council to adopt that map.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Kent,
Yes, sir.
I've got one other thing. Herman emailed me about this, and I gotta admit, my brain has shut off. I got out of one of the calls when we were talking about the kiosk, and I had in my brain that we were taking that out because it wasn't a state, it wasn't recognized by the state definition, and didn't notice it when it was in, and he asked me about it, and I can't remember the explanation. Did we mean to take kiosk out, or we left it in?
No,
We had an explanation for it.
no, we took it out. We took it,
Oh,
on number 9, it was a typo and left in there. We're gonna strike that out of, section 25-198-9. But as far as in the
okay, I thought we
definition,
were doing that, and then up at the top, in the definition, there's a kiosk definition. On 33B.
33B.
He's got it on the screen now.
Okay, yeah, Joseph.
Yeah, that is actually,
In section 4.
Yeah, okay, I'll let Joseph explain that, but as I remember it, there is a kiosk, it's just separate from a mobile vending unit.
I think y'all fixed it, but I'm drawing a blank.
Joseph, will
yeah,
you
so
explain
the
that?
reason that is,
Go ahead,
so
Joseph.
that's in there to get this sort of into conformity with the health department definitions. We had mobile food vending units, sites, or kiosks in the old ordinance, and they were all sort of separate. Here we're sort of differentiating, and we're adding in. So this temporary food kiosk is not a mobile food vending unit, which it was in the previous ordinance, and so I'm sure Jeremy could specify the difference as well. But this is subject to the health department rules for temporary events. These temporary food kiosks are a separate entity from mobile food vending units, and the reason that is specified, we took out kiosks when referenced under this because the health department would not license a temporary food kiosk as a mobile food vending unit, but a temporary food kiosk as defined here may be licensed by the health department only for temporary events or exempt events as they define them and issue their authorizations for those.
Yeah, but
Okay, I got it.
this is Herman, up in section 4, it does not refer to 33B, but yet it's under there, 33B is in place there. So we just need to add a reference in section 4.
Okay,
33B is being added. Or it reads as follows. See, from section 4, the last one referred to is 33A.
yeah. You see what he's talking about, Joseph?
Yeah, I've taken note of that.
Okay. I'm with you, Herman, I see what you're talking about. So we just need to add 33B in that section 4 sentence.
So the things I have at this moment are add a section 25-198-19, which was the one about the sound. Delete the word kiosk from 25-198-9 and add 33B to the heading for section 4.
That's what I have. Okay, anything else, anybody? Any questions or comments about it? It's a lot, but I think it's a good text. Okay, let's move forward then.
All right, next we have the consent agenda. First up is site plan 605-20. This is approximately 4.885 acres. The current zone, it's all zoned, pre-zoned, or in the process of pre-zoning to M1A. Applicant is Gonzalez Strength and Associates for Racetrack Petroleum. The location on this one is 2331 Highway 20. This is a site plan review for addition of diesel pumps, expansion of canopy, and addition of a new access drive to an existing racetrack gas station. The new zone versus M1A. Proposed land use is still a gas station. One Decatur future land use is Flex Employment Center. Highway 20 and Beltline Road are principal arterials. There are 5 conditions. First one, completion of annexations 362-20 and 363-20. Number 2, finalization of pre-zoning 1368-20. Number 3, adjustment of lot lines to correspond with submitted site plan. Number 4, submittal of truck movements per engineering approval. Number 5, label road names on drawings where needed. And then point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense.
Hey Joe, I've got a comment on this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. On the truck movement, I sent an email to AlDOT because some of them overlap and it'll cause traffic back up onto the belt line. So I don't know if that's relevant to the planning commission or not, but I am in contact with AlDOT about that.
And do you think the condition number 4
Yeah.
covers that?
Well, that was my question. I don't know per engineering approval. I guess that would cover it.
Yeah, Courtney, the way I understand this, if we go ahead and approve this site plan, we're saying that we approve it as long as you approve the truck movement route or whatever you want to call it. So it's only approved if they present you with a drawing that you're satisfied with.
Okay. I just didn't want anything to slip through the cracks, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. And we did receive one. I guess you've seen it, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. I think it's a good thing for the city to add on this truck filling station. Okay, next one, Joseph.
All right, next up, site plan 606-20. The acreage is 0.16 acres. Current zone is B5. The applicant is John S. Godwin for the Earl Charitable Foundation. Location west of 425 Moulton Street East. The request is a new clubhouse for Young Life, which is located on an adjacent parcel. New zone, still B5. Proposed land use is nonprofit clubhouse. One Decatur future land use, urban core downtown. One Decatur street typology. Moulton Street East is a principal arterial. One condition to be met, which need 10-foot clearance between overhead lines and building per Decatur utilities approval. Point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at owner's expense.
All right, any questions? This is something that was brought before us probably about a year ago, that we're gonna build this in the back of the current lot that they are located on. And I guess they've obtained this next lot next door, so they're just requesting to move it over.
So
Okay.
it's already in existence there, Ken?
No, it's a vacant lot to the west of where Young Life is now. If you remember a few months back, or maybe even a year back, they presented a site plan where they were gonna build this behind their current building. And now they have acquired the lot next door to it, so they just wanna move it over on that lot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Joseph. Let me
next
just
is-
mention now, the next one, y'all, was not in the original packet. This is something that we added. Y'all should have received an email on it.
Yeah, if anybody does not have site plan 607-20, I can read through that now, and I'll and share that on the screen. So site plan 607-20, 1.29 acres, current zone B2, applicant Lee Green and Associates for Anthony Cox. Location is 2532 Danville Road Southwest, north of Milligan Street Southwest. Request is for site plan approval for a warehouse. Future land use is neighborhood commercial, and street typology, Danville Road Southwest is a minor arterial, Milligan Street Southwest is a local street. 5 conditions to be met: limit ingress egress to Milligan Street with construction of curb and gutter to each property line. Number 2, provide a grading and drainage plan for review and approval by engineers. Number 3, show parking for each phase of development. Number 4, close Danville Road for ingress, egress, and connect sidewalk. Number 5, provide an amended site plan to planning department. And point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense.
Okay, and this is another one that was brought before us a couple of years ago, and they never did it, and I guess they made a few minor changes to this. Any questions or comments on this case?
Yes. This is Anthony Cox, the owner of the property. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Oh, well, good. It should show the drainage on the site plan, does it not?
Courtney? Courtney, are you still with us?
I'm trying to unmute myself.
Oh, okay.
I think Carl wants some more detail on that, like the grades of everything. Cause we've got the inlets, but there's no, topo.
Oh, okay. It's been I'm not trying to be smart, but it'd been helpful if you guys told me before the meeting, and I could have got that done.
Well, Mr.
But
Cox, it doesn't
if you look
really,
at the old one,
Mr. Cox, it doesn't really
if you look
change.
at the old one,
It doesn't stop us from approving it. We will approve it with the condition that you supply that.
okay, and you're looking at the old one too. There's a new one provided to you guys. This is similar, of course. Okay. What was the other stipulation? The curve, which I did, I understand that there was something else in there you said. No, that was fine. I didn't see the actual list, until you just pulled it up on the screen, now it's on the screen.
Joseph, can you pull that back up for him?
Yep, I'll get this other one that's on the other page, but yes, I will get that pulled back up.
Is 2532 Danville Road, is that where that big lot is, right behind Big Bob's? No, it's beside Embroidered Me, right?
Yes,
There's
beside
that-
Embroidered Me. That's exactly right.
Is that a business, is that zoned for business, or is it?
Yes. Yes, it's
About a
B2.
year or so ago,
It's B2. A year or so ago, we approved a site plan.
Yeah.
And he's wanting to put a storage unit there?
Well,
Warehouse,
it's a office warehouse.
office warehouse, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
and,
permitted in B2.
I'm here about parking. The plan actually has parking on it. Why is that on there?
These conditions were from the technical review committee, so if any of the conditions are met, and they can be resolved, it doesn't limit you from being approved at this meeting.
Okay, I just wonder why it was on there if it was already on there. What do I need to do? If I'm already showing you parking, what do I need to do?
Joseph, this is
We need to
coming from
check.
engineering, right?
Yeah, we'll need to check with either building or engineering, whichever one commented and made that suggested that condition for it in the technical review committee.
Hey, Joe, I think that was a building comment.
I'm not sure if building is on the line right now, but we would just make sure that they're satisfied with whatever's been submitted.
Do you know what zone is it again? It's B,
It's B2.
B2.
See, right here, it says current zone B2.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cox, do you understand that we can go ahead and approve this today with these conditions? And then you have to work that out with the building department and engineering. And if they're already resolved, then that it's not an issue. So
Okay, when they're resolved, do you guys send me something saying they're resolved? I don't want anybody to forget they've been resolved. You know what I mean?
Well, it'll be your responsibility to get with them to show them that they are resolved. That'll be your
It
responsibility.
don't have to come back to planning commission.
It doesn't come back to us. You will get with engineering and planning to show them that you've resolved these conditions that we're placing on you. You don't have to come back to us.
Okay.
So after that's approved, does it go to the council?
No,
Does not go to the council, okay. Is there another board it has to go to
no,
for approval?
no.
So after we approve it, he can put the warehouse on his property,
As
okay,
long as it meets all the
As long
conditions.
as he meets these conditions.
okay.
Okay, I
So-
understand. I do have one question for you.
Okay?
On my site plan, you see the driveway, a certain way, it's going right over a little sinkhole that I have on that lot. Can I move that driveway? What's the proper way to move that driveway 10 feet one way or the other? I mean, is that something that has to be approved to the building committee, goes through back to site plan or what?
If you move egress, ingress, it's gonna have to come back to
He's
us.
changing
You're
the
changing the
site plan.
site plan, you know, that's a major change. It would have to come back to us.
Okay, all right.
You know, if you feel like you're gonna need to do that, I would ask that we table this and you make these changes for next month.
Yeah, no, let's not table it. I'll just leave it as is and we'll figure it out.
Okay?
Hey, Kent,
Yes, sir, Eddie.
Kent, this Eddie, I think you can move it on the property. I think it's the curb cutter where it joins the street that can't be moved. I think that's right.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought he was talking about, was the curb cut.
No, it's just the actual, drive itself.
Okay, well, like I say, if we approve it today, those conditions will be there, and anything that you wanna change, you'll just have to get with engineering and the building department, and as long as you meet what they've asked for, everything will be fine.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough.
Okay, but like I said, it will be your responsibility to do that, not theirs.
I understand.
Okay.
You guys gonna email this to me so I can have a copy?
Yes.
Okay.
Joseph, do you have his email to send him this?
I know Matthew has his email, and we'll also send it to whatever the address indicated on your application is via mail.
Okay. And you could always come to the planning, well, you can't come to the planning department right now because they're closed down, but, they will get it to you, Mr. Cox. Okay?
Okay.
Move to the, we're gonna have to move on through now, y'all.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have certificate 3518-20, 2.24 acres, currently zoned R2. Applicant is P. Wright McAnally for Violet Fisher. Property location is 2106 through 2114 Covington Lane. Request is to subdivide one 2.24 acre parcel into one parcel of 1.6 acres and two smaller parcels. Proposed land use is residential. 1 Decatur future land use is mixed neighborhood. 1 Decatur street typology. Covington Lane Southwest is a local street. 3 conditions: signed, sealed survey with 3 state plane coordinates, copy of the deed, recording fees, and the point of information. Any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense.
Ken, the only thing I got on that, it said 1.6 acres and 2 smaller parcels. do we need to know what size they are, or that doesn't matter?
Well, it goes back, Ms. Tate, it goes back to the original plat of that subdivision, so it is on there.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Joseph, we're running out of time, so on these last few cases, let's don't read the whole application. Let's just, bring up what they're asking for and see if anybody has any comments.
Sure. This one is certificate 351920. It's a certificate to consolidate or adjust the lot lines between 3 tracts to create 2 tracts. This is for P.R. McAnally for Armistead, Arnold, Pollard Real Estate Services, and Capstone Real Properties. This is in between Vine Street and, let me just make sure, yeah, Vine Street, Canal Street, and Walnut Street. It would essentially consolidate all these 3 lots together and then re-divide them into 2 rectangular tracts. The only conditions on there were signed sealed survey with 3 state plan coordinates, recording fees, and any relocation of utilities will be at owner's expense.
Any questions?
Anybody have any?
Is that 2 tracts of 6.6 and 2 tracts of .22? Am I right?
It's 1 track of 0.6 and 1 track of 0.22.
But that doesn't equal up to the acreage that we have on there. The 3 tracts come to more, it's less than that.
Yep, you're right.
So I'm thinking it's 2 tracts of .6 and 2 tracts of .22. That would equal out to the amount. Would it equal up to 55, which really is 56, really?
Richard, are you on here?
You guys,
I am.
Can you answer that question for Ms. Tate? Do you understand what the question is? You're creating 2 tracks that's less than what you started with.
Take just a handful of the shows.
Okay. I tell you what, while you're doing that, we'll go ahead to the other one and we'll come back to that. Is that all right, Francis?
yeah, so next there's Annexation 362-20. This is on the racetrack property. There are no conditions to be met. This is the first of the 2 annexations that are needed out there. It's already been pre-zoned to M1A. And this one is 1.67 acres. I'll just read the next one together so we can take all questions on them at the same time since they go together. Next one is Annexation 363, and that's another 1.635 acres. This is the one we're considering for a pre-zoning today, to M1A as well. Applicant Burt Boykin for Racetrack Petroleum. It's also right alongside the other tract that we would be annexing. It's proposed as part of that site plan, and this is the larger one that we looked at this morning. There's one condition, just deed needed, and then point of information, any relocation utilities will be at owner's expense.
So that everybody understands, so on this one thing, we have a pre-zoning, a site plan approval, and 2 annexations, all for the racetrack. Any questions on any of that? Okay, Richard, do you have it now, or are you still looking for it?
Let's see, I've got it pulled up. It looks like we have existing is 3 tracts. It's 0.3 acres, 0.15 acres, and 0.37 acres, for a total of 0.82 acres. And the proposed acreage is one tract of 0.6 and a second tract of 0.22 for 0.82 acres.
Okay, you're right. I got it. You understand that, Francis?
No.
Okay.
How many acres he say it is?
Yeah, it's 0.06 and 0.022, which equals 0.082. And that's what they add up to.
Okay.
Or if you look at the way they typed it, it's 0.6.
Yeah, the way they typed it, yeah.
Okay, the way they typed it is 0.60 and 0.22, which adds up to 0.82.
Okay.
Okay, the only other business we have, y'all, this is the December meeting where we elect officers. I'll be honored to serve again if y'all wish, or if y'all feel like it's time to make a change, I'm good with that too.
Can I have a question? Does they have
Okay.
to make a motion for you to be?
Yeah, generally we make a motion for there's chairman, vice chairman, and secretary. And right now, I'm the chairman, Mr. Borden is the vice chairman, and Dan Culpepper is the secretary.
I'd like to make a motion to keep it the same.
Okay, we would do that during the meeting.
Is it not? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, not yet, we just sort of discussed that. So, that'll be the last thing that we handle during the meeting. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and move into the meeting, y'all, it's that time. This being the time and place for regular scheduled meeting of the City of Decatur Planning Commission, I'd like to call us to order. Joseph, are you gonna call the roll, or am I calling it?
I can read off the roll.
Okay,
Commissioner Lawrence,
here,
Commissioner Pepper,
Here.
Commissioner Burrows,
Here.
Commissioner Borden,
Here.
Commissioner Culpepper, Commissioner King,
Here.
Commissioner Pike,
Here.
Commissioner Loon,
Here.
Commissioner Temple,
Here.
okay, we do have a quorum. Are there any corrections or additions to last month's meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve those minutes, Commissioner.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Okay, the format for this meeting is as follows. A representative from the Planning Commission, or Planning Department, I'm sorry, will read each case being presented to the Commission today. The first part of today's meeting is a public hearing for these items. Rezoning, this is changing the current zoning of a property to a different zoning. The Commission will vote to recommend or not recommend the zoning change to the City Council. If an applicant wishes to go on to the City Council without a recommendation from the Planning Commission, they should notify the Planning Department via email or in writing tomorrow. Pre-zoning, Section 115285 makes provisions for a municipality to apply a zoning district to property contiguous to the city limits with an agreement that the property will be annexed within 6 months of the pre-zoning being completed. This also moves forward to the council. Zoning text amendment. This is when we make a change to the text in the zoning ordinance. It requires a public hearing. The commission will vote to recommend or not recommend the zoning text amendment to the city council. Each item will be read separately and voted on after comments and discussions. If you wish to make a comment on an item and you're not present, we ask that you email that now. And you email it to planning@decatur-al.gov. That's planning@decatur-al.gov. Please be sure to include your name and the address. If you're here in the chambers and you wish to speak after each case, you'll be given a chance to do that. we ask that you come forward, state your name and address, and make your comments. After the case you're here for is read, you're welcome to stay or leave. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that all items on the agenda today are essential and minimal to the continuing function of our community as recommended by the Technical Review Committee. So I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, second by Mr. Borden. All in favor state aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that's accepted unanimous. Okay, Joseph, if you'll take case 1, or the first case.
All right, the first item on the agenda today, that would be rezoning number 1367-20. The acreage is 0.15 acres, currently zoned R3. Applicant Barrett Strong for Donita Parker and Miracle Deliverance Apostolic. The location is 323 Memorial Drive Northwest. The request is a rezoning to allow reopening of a convenience store. The proposed new zone is B1. Proposed land use, neighborhood market, which previously existed in this location. The one Decatur future land use is core neighborhood. The one Decatur street typology, Memorial Drive Northwest is a minor arterial. 3rd Street Northwest is an urban collector. The zoning committee recommended denial and recommended asking board of zoning adjustment for a use variance. There are no conditions to be met, and a point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at owner's expense.
Okay, and let me clarify, the zoning committee recommends denial and also recommends that the applicant go to Board of Zoning Adjustments to ask for a variance. Okay, if you're not here and you would like to make an email comment on that, I ask that you do that at this time. We're going to allow about a minute for those to come in. If you want to comment on any of the future cases, I ask that you go ahead and send those emails now. We will not be waiting a minute at each case, so go ahead on anything that we're going to hear today that's on the agenda today. You can email that to planning@decatur-al.gov. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to this case? A lot of distinguished guests here today.
Yeah. And great company.
Okay, Joseph, did you receive any emails?
No, sir, I have not received any emails at this time.
Okay. There being no comments from the public, do we have a motion to recommend approval?
Motion for approval.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Borden. Any comments or questions from anyone on the commission? Okay, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lawrence,
Yes.
Commissioner Peppers,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows,
No.
Commissioner Borden,
No.
Commissioner Tate,
No.
Commissioner Pike,
No.
Commissioner Wynn,
No.
Commissioner Temple,
No.
Hey, and y'all, I'm gonna correct my vote. I voted incorrect. I'm voting no. Got confused taking the roll up here.
Okay.
Okay, so that fails. So Joseph, will you notify the applicant that we recommend that they take their request back to the Board of Zoning Adjustments?
Yes, I will notify the applicant.
Okay. Next case, please.
All right, next item on the agenda, we have pre-zoning 1368-20. This is 1.635 acres. The current zone, it's not currently zoned. The applicant is Bert Boykin for Racetrack Petroleum. The location and address is 2309 and 2313 Highway 20. The request is to pre-zone the parcel to be annexed in Annexation 363-20. The new zone is M1A. Proposed land use is gas station. One Decatur future land use is flex employment center. One Decatur street typology, Highway 20 is a principal arterial. The zoning committee recommended approval on this item. Only condition to be met, copy of deed needed. Point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense.
Okay, did you receive any emails for this request?
I have not received any emails, no.
Okay, is there anyone present that would wish to speak to this request?
Hey, good afternoon, it's Bert Boykin, the applicant for Racetrack.
Yes, sir, Mr. Borkin.
I'll be brief, but this is Joseph set the table, a pre-zoning application for property that's adjacent to the existing raceway station and property that you guys considered another round of pre-zoning back in July. The raceway site, which is currently in the city of Decatur, is zoned M1A. The immediately adjacent property is pre-zoned M1A. So this application before you will match the zoning of the other two parcels, which will ultimately be consolidated into one functioning site. That's essentially it on this one, and we're here to answer any questions if you have it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else that would like to speak to this case? Okay, do we have a motion to recommend approval?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Okay, motion by Mr. Borden, second by Mrs. Tate. Anyone on the commission have any comments or questions you'd like to make? Hey, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
Commissioner Pepper.
Aye.
Commissioner Burrows.
Yes.
Commissioner Borden.
Yes.
Commissioner Tate.
Yes.
Commissioner Pike.
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn.
Yes.
Commissioner Temple.
Yes.
Okay. That request has been approved. Okay, now we have the other one, zoning text amendment.
Next item on the agenda, zoning text amendment 246-20. The applicant is the city of Decatur, and the request is a zoning text amendment to make it easier for mobile food vending units to operate in the city of Decatur. In general, this amendment would allow food trucks to operate on private property subject to certain restrictions as an ancillary use to a business. Additionally, it establishes a framework for the designation of certain city of Decatur property as pre-approved mobile food vending sites. It also includes other minor changes to keep definitions in conformity with those used by the health department and to prevent contradictions with existing provisions. The zoning committee has recommended approval with correction of typo in section 25-198.9 stating or kiosk. There are no conditions, and of course the point of information is any relocation of utilities will be at owner's expense.
No, I don't think so. Does anybody feel like we need to read the whole text at this time?
Do we need to add that point
Yeah.
to it?
There's 2 points that the commission would like to add. Under section 4, we want to add 33B. And then in section 25-198, we want to add 19 to refer back to the city sound ordinance. Is there anyone here that would like to make a comment to this zoning text amendment? Did we receive any emails, Joseph?
The kid that ought to say sound control ordinance.
Okay, so 19, we're asking that you add, that you reference to the city's sound control ordinance. You got that, Joseph?
Yes, I got that.
Okay. No emails?
No emails.
Okay. Do we have a motion to recommend this zoning text amendment to the council?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second?
second by Mr. Borden. Any comments or questions or remarks by anyone on the commission?
I'll say that I'm excited to see food trucks come to Decatur. I think it's gonna be a great thing for the city.
And I'd like to mention again that Joseph did an outstanding job putting this together from the planning department. Okay, please call the roll.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Pepper,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Borden,
Yes.
Commissioner Tate,
Yes.
Commissioner Pike. Yes. Commissioner Wynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Temple.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous approval. Okay, next we move into the consent agenda part of the meeting today. This is where we, well, first off, these do not require a public hearing, and they are read as a group and voted on as a group, and do not require or not forwarded to the city council. Certificates to subdivide, this is a one-step procedure to subdivide no more than 3 lots or to consolidate lots. A survey is required. Site plan review, this is proposed developments on a collector street or above. Plans show building placement, parking, circulation, landscaping, etc. If you wish to comment on any of these agenda items, you may do after they have all been read. Same procedure, come forward, state your name and address, or if you'd like to email, you email now to planning@decatur-al.gov. Okay, go ahead and read the first case, please.
All right, first item on the consent agenda, site plan 605-20. This is approximately 4.885 acres, and it's currently zoned, pre-zoned, or in the process of pre-zoning to M1A. The applicant on this is Gonzalez Strength and Associates for Racetrack Petroleum. Location is 2331 Highway 20. The request is site plan review for addition of diesel pumps, expansion of canopy, and addition of new access drives to an existing racetrack gas station. The new zone is M1A. Proposed land use is gas station. One Decatur future land use is Flex Employment Center. And the One Decatur street typology. Highway 20 and Beltline Road are principal arterials. There are 5 conditions to be met. Number 1, completion of annexations 362-20 and 363-20. Number 2, finalization pre-zoning 1368-20. Number 3, adjustment of lot lines to correspond with submitted site plan. Number 4, submittal of truck movements per engineering approval. Number 5, label road names on drawings where needed. And the point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense. The next item on the consent agenda is Site Plan 606-20. This is 1.16 acres, currently zoned B5. Applicant is John S. Godwin for the Earl Charitable Foundation. The location is west of 425 Moulton Street East. The request is a clubhouse for Young Life, which is located on an adjacent parcel. The new zone is still B5. Proposed land use is a nonprofit clubhouse. 1 Decatur future land use is urban core downtown. 1 Decatur street typology. Moulton Street East is a principal arterial. Conditions to be met with 1 condition. Need 10-foot clearance between overhead lines and building per Decatur Utilities approval. And the point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense. Next item on the consent agenda. Next on the consent agenda, we have another item that is on a separate packet, and that would be Site Plan 607-20. I'll make sure I'm sharing that with you all here. So this is Site Plan 607-20. Acreage is 1.29 acres. Current zone is B2. The applicant, Lee Green and Associates for Anthony Cox. The location, 2532 Danville Road Southwest, north of Milligan Street Southwest. The request is to approve the site plan. The new zone, not applicable. Proposed land use is warehouse. 1 Decatur future land use is neighborhood commercial. 1 Decatur street typology. Danville Road Southwest is a minor arterial. Milligan Street Southwest is a local street. There are 5 conditions to be met. Number 1, limit ingress-egress to Milligan Street with construction of curb and gutter to the east property line. Number 2, provide a grading and drainage plan for review and approval of engineering. Number 3, show parking for each phase of development. Number 4, close Danville Road, ingress-egress and connect sidewalk. Number 5, provide amended site plan to planning department. Point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense. Now I'll go back to the previous screen.
It got louder.
My apologies, I'll just read off of this for now. Next item on the agenda is Certificate 3518-20. Acreage is 2.24 acres, currently zoned R2. Applicant, Pewright McAnally for Violet Fisher. Address is 2106 through 2114 Covington Lane Southwest. The request is to subdivide 2.24 acre parcel into 1 parcel of 1.6 acres and 2 smaller parcels. Proposed land use is residential. 1 Decatur future land use is mixed neighborhood. The 1 Decatur street typology. Covington Lane Southwest is a local street. There are 3 conditions to be met. Signed, sealed survey with 3 state plane coordinates. Number 2, a copy of the deed. Number 3, recording fees. And a point of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense. Next on the consent agenda is Certificate 3519-20. The acreage is 0.82. Currently zoned B5 and R3 as well as R3H. The applicant is Pewright McAnally for Armstead Arnold Pollard Real Estate Services LLC and Capstone Real Properties LLC. The address is 17 Pine Street Northeast, 621 Canal Street Northeast, as well as 8 and 17 Walnut Street Northeast. The request is to adjust the lot lines between 3 tracts of 0.3, 0.15, and 0.37 acres to create 2 tracts of 0.6 and 0.22 acres. The one Decatur future land uses urban core downtown and core neighborhood. One Decatur street typology, Walnut and Vine Street Northeast are local streets. 2 conditions to be met: signed sealed survey with 3 state plan coordinates. Number 2, recording fees. And the point of information: any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense. That is the last item on the consent agenda.
Okay, did you receive any emails for any of these?
I have not received any email.
Okay, is there anyone here that would wish to speak to any of these cases? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to approve consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Borden, second by Mr. Pepper. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes?
Commissioner Pepper,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Borden,
Yes.
Commissioner Tate,
Yes.
Commissioner Pike,
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Temple.
Yes.
Okay, everything is approved unanimous. And the next portion of our meeting is other business, and this is where we have an annexation request. And these are also moved forward to the city council. So go ahead, Joseph.
Next item on the agenda, Annexation 362-20. The acreage is 1.67. Current zone is pre-zoned to M1A. Applicant is Burt Boykin for Racetrack Petroleum. Location is east and south of 2331 Highway 20. The request is annexation of a 1.67 acre parcel pre-zoned to M1A. Improved zoning 1361-20. A new zone is the M1A. Proposed land use is gas station. One Decatur future land use is flex employment center. One Decatur street typology. Highway 20 and Beltline Road are principal arterials. No conditions to be met. And the point of information: any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense.
Okay, did you receive an email on this?
Not received any email.
Okay, is there anyone that would wish to make comments on this request?
Good afternoon, Bert Boykin again. I would just state that this is, it's a property that you previously commended for pre-zoning and work pre-zoned in September this year. So this is the corresponding annexation application that we would also request the board recommend for approval by the council. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? We have a motion to recommend approval to the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Borden. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Pepper,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Borden,
Yes.
Commissioner Tate,
Yes.
Commissioner Pike,
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Temple.
Yes.
Okay, that's approved unanimous.
All right, next up, we have annexation 363-20. That is 1.635 acres. Current zone is under consideration for pre-zoning to M1A. The applicant is Burt Boykin for Racetrack Petroleum. Location is 2309 and 2313 Highway 20. The request is for annexation of a 1.635 acre parcel to the new zone of M1A. Proposed land use is gas station. One Decatur future land use is flex employment center. One Decatur street typology. Highway 20 and Beltline Road are principal arterials. One condition to be met, and that's need needed. One of information, any relocation of utilities will be at the owner's expense.
Okay, is there anyone who wish to speak to this request? Okay, do we have a motion to recommend approval to the council?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion by Mr. Borden, second by Mr. Pepper. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Pepper,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows,
Yes.
Commissioner Borden,
Yes.
Commissioner Tate,
Yes.
Commissioner Pike,
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Temple.
Yes.
Okay. That is approved unanimous. Okay, the only other business we have is election of officers for 2021. Is there anyone that has a recommendation or a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to keep it the way it is.
Okay, that motion is to keep myself as chairman, Mr. Borden as vice chairman, and Mr. Culpepper as secretary. Any other motions? We have a second to that.
Second, this Eddie.
Okay, second by Mr. Pike. All in favor state yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Any opposed? All right, we'll keep it the way it is. Thank you very much. No further business. We are now adjourned.
And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas to you.
Christmas.
Okay, bye.
Bye.